Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to the channel. This is my review of the Yamaha YS 125. I've had this bike for about 2 months now, and I've had it on hire. I've got a fair amount of mileage on it, coming up to like maybe 600-700, and I'm just going to go through some pros and cons that I've found with the bike for people who might be interested in buying one. So I think one of the good pros, which I agree with, is the price of the bike. 2,700 I think it is on the road, and that's very reasonable because the bike, it strikes me as like very reliable. The engine it seems spot on. Like there's not much to complain about with it. Every time I've turned it on, it's always been a starter first time. It's what you'd kind of expect from Japanese Yamaha. And yeah, another good thing about the bike is it handles fantastically. It takes the corners like very well. You can really learn how to ride, and it's a good bike to choose if you're planning to go through like mod 1, mod 2. You know, you can just kind of like get used to how it rides, and yeah, learn your craft. One of my favorite things about the bike is the way it sounds when you're not accelerating but decelerating. It sounds like an aeroplane going over the top, just like woo. It's hard to really describe the sound, but it's actually satisfying to de-accelerate, which is a first for me. Usually I like the other way around, but yeah. Some other pros, which may be cons for some people, is the bike is fairly quiet, and I can see why you'd want it as you'd want that as a con rather than a pro, because on my last bike I used to have a loud exhaust. This bike is fairly quiet, and but it does feel more refined, like the engine, compared to the Lexmoto Venom that I had. Don't get me wrong, the Lexmoto Venom was better in some ways and worse in others than this bike. This bike is definitely slower than the Venom was. The gearbox here is in the YS is a lot more easier to change gear, which is a bit of a breath of fresh air, to be honest. I mean, I've not had any issues with it getting sort of like stuck or anything like that when I'm changing gear. It's always done what it's supposed to do. It's got me in the right gear, which I find, you know, as a learner rider, people would appreciate that because it's less hassle with the bike. Whereas the Venom, actually, sometimes it could get locked up. I don't know if there's anything you can do about that, but I don't know. Didn't really look into it. Interestingly enough, Lexmoto, they actually sell the Lexmoto Aspire. I think it's about something like £1,500. So it's a good grand and 200 quid cheaper than this. But it's made in the same factory, it's got the same engine, I think. Oh, it's got a YBR engine. I'm not sure if this YS engine's been like updated since the YBRs. I imagine it has been. But yeah. So one thing I would say is a con is the front tire is very skinny. Well, it seems skinny anyway. So if you go over something like a jut in the road, it's very easy to get sort of like, you know, like off balance or wobble about a bit. But that's only happened to me once with this bike, and it's not a big deal. It seems uncommon of an issue to, you know, say not to buy it. But yeah, ultimately, I would say for £2,700, I would say it's 100% worth it. I've seen some other reviews where they're sort of like saying that it's not a good bike or whatever on online, but I think it's not bad. I think the top speed I've had is about 60 to 65 range, and I'm not really pushing this bike at all, to be honest. I'm sure it can do more if you de-restrict it a little bit, and perhaps put your own exhaust and pipe and whatnot, downpipe. And this is a fuel injection bike as well, and so no sort of faffing around with the carburetor anymore. like you used to have to. I'm sure that they're doing some kind of I don't know, with the Lexmotos used to have yeah, you used to be able to like put a blanking plate in this side, but I didn't really look close enough for this yet, because it's not my bike, so I'm not going to be taking it apart. We used to put a blanking plate about here, and it would cut off the EGR valve. I'm not sure if these have an EGR valve. But yeah, I'm looking to get a new bike myself, like very soon, next couple of weeks or so, hopefully. And I'm seriously considering maybe getting a Lexmoto Aspire. If it's made by the same factory, I'm really curious to see how it pans out compared to this. So, I mean, I think the fairings are a bit different and whatnot, but the rest of the bike, it looks very similar. It's probably about the same. Like I said, it comes from the same place, so it can't be too bad, can it? Same factory. Other good things about a bike is the speedo is very clear, the revs are very clear to look at. The mirrors are good, they're a good size. You can see a fair bit out of them. Another thing is, like, what I like about the engine is how smooth it is when you accelerate, and you just whatever you're doing, the engine is very smooth. Even when you're pushing it, it doesn't feel like it's being pushed too much. But it will run out of breath around about 60-ish, 60, 65, like I said earlier. The seating position, I'm finding that very comfortable. The bike, to me, feels small, but that's because I'm from the Lexmoto Venom to go onto this, and I think the Venom's got a higher seat height. But this, because it's smaller, I'm actually thinking that in the bad weather conditions like rain, I'm a bit more protected from the elements, because I've got more of the bike in front of me. That's what it feels like, and I'm a bit lower down, so I'm collecting less water as I'm going along. And I have ridden this in ridiculously pouring British weather rain, so other than that, what else can I say? The brakes are very adequate. They stop you very well. I've tried an emergency stop with this bike, it's very good. I mean, I couldn't ask much more from it. It's definitely, the brakes on this are definitely much superior compared to the Lexmoto Venom that I had. But there's good points to the Venom though. I mean, the Venom's faster, it's louder, it's a bit more hooligan. This is a bit more sort of going to work and going home cheaply. The fuel economy on this bike is it's not so bad. I think I'm probably getting about 80 miles per gallon, something like that, in that sort of range, between 70, 80, 90. And I have gone like all through the tank. I think there's not much left in this one right now. So let's put on the display. See, it looks quite nice, doesn't it? And I've got 2 bars left. 694 miles on the clock. Can't remember what I said earlier, but yeah, I've done about 2 months of riding on this. But it's a bike that you can feel very comfortable on. You can learn what you need to learn, and yeah, very, very acceptable as a learner bike, in my opinion. A lot less hassle. Basically, the way that it comes from the suppliers, the dealers, that's all you're going to ever need out of it. You don't really need to modify it. So obviously you could if you want, but I think it's good as it is. Anyway, so if I had to give it a star rating, I'd probably say 4 out of 5, which isn't bad. And I'd only knock a star off just because there's a few tiny little niggles, like the front tyre I think is a bit slim. But then again, the front tyre, because it's slim, it makes the bike really agile, so you can take your corners like very good, like very well. I mean, like earlier I was doing a lot of filtering through traffic, and I was going past all the bikes there, all the big bikes, small bikes, doesn't matter what it is, I was getting past, like, just by filtering through gaps that they probably can't even get through. So, I mean, and another decent thing is the turn-in circle is very good. It's definitely better than the Adrenaline. So I'm at my house now, so when I used to turn the Adrenaline in to park it up, yeah, that turn-in circle used to be quite wide, Whereas this one, it can do it all in one, like very easily. And like with the Adrenaline, I used to have to sort of like straighten up and then go back. Definitely feels like a lighter bike as well. Yeah, but yeah, it's a really decent machine. I'm not sure if it's the type of class that I would consider like a fun bike. It's more of a get you to work and home bike. The things I consider as a fun bike are stuff like a dirt bike or like Supermoto. That's what I'm thinking to get. If I don't get a Lexmoto Aspire, I might get the Lexmoto Adrenaline. But yeah, anyway guys, keep tuned on the channel, and hopefully I'll have something new soon, and can do a review on that as well. And if I do get the Supermoto, hopefully I'll get some green laning videos and whatnot. And yeah, see how the channel grows. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and I hope it was helpful. If you've got any questions on the Yamaha YS, feel free to comment below, and I'll try to get back to you with any information I can. And yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers.